Welcome on into Sports Night. From Big Ten championships to big time basketball news, we've got a lot to cover on tonight's show.
Well, speaking of Big Ten championships, Allie, I heard the Lake Show had something to celebrate this past weekend.
You heard that right, Griffin. The Lake Show traveled east this past weekend in search of a Big Ten tournament championship. Let's take a look at how the team fared in Columbus. Columbus to take on the Michigan Wolverines in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Huge matchup here for Northwestern. Getting things started, it's the Cats. Just a couple seconds into this one, Erin Kuykendall from the free position shot, fancy footwork, and she lays it in. First score of the game. Cats obviously happy about that one. Michigan, though, would not back down. Free position here. She shoots, she scores. The Wolverines on the board make it 3-1 Northwestern at the end of the first quarter. Now, after some back and forth action in the second quarter, it's Izzy Skane. She gets it to Kuykendall, rips it in for her fourth goal of the afternoon. 10-4 in favor of the Cats at the half. Coming out of the locker room, teams keep trading jabs, but Michigan able to crawl their way back just a little. Sneak it past Low Liberty here. That's Jill Smith. Cuts the Cats' lead to just 3, 11-8. But the Wolverines won't rally in Madison Taylor's house. The first year sends the ball right past the Michigan goalie. Northwestern lead now up back to 5, 15-10, and clock's winding down. 6.5 minutes and 3 Northwestern goals later, the clock finally ticks to 0 with the Cats finishing on top. They take down mighty Michigan in the Big Ten semifinals and earn the right to compete for the Big Ten Tournament Championship for the first time since 2019. Now, the Big Ten trophy is on site, and the Wildcats are looking to take it back to Evanston and far, far away from College Park. Northwestern would strike first blow just 1 minute into the game. Izzy Skane and Erin Kuykendall working around the perimeter per usual. Kuykendall to Hansen, who lays it in. Elle Hansen gets the scoring started. Maryland was giving Northwestern trouble, though. Hannah Lubecker here gets around the Northwestern defense, and a sidearm shot gives the Terps the lead early in the second quarter. Terps up 1, and the Cats are ready to respond, working around the 12-meter. It's Kuykendall and Skane. Kuykendall thinks about it, hands it off to Izzy Skane, right into Dylan Amonte, who gets it going. But Northwestern still here, and of course it's Skane and Kuykendall on the perimeter. Maryland up again. Kuykendall has it at the 8. She tosses it into Skane, give and go, and there it is. They tie the game again. Back and forth these teams go with time ticking down in the second quarter. Kuykendall gets tripped up by some serious Terrapin defense here. Hands it off to Skane at the 12. She'll cut in a little bit, but rifle it all the way in. Northwestern up 7-6 at the half. Northwestern again, Erin Kuykendall that time opened the half with back-to-back goals, and now it's Haley Radigan who wants in on the action. Puts her defender in a spin cycle, gets her first goal of the game. And Northwestern didn't look back from there. 14-9 the final score, and the Wildcats are the Big Ten tournament champions. The number 1 overall seeded Cats will start their hunt for a national championship on Sunday, taking on the winner of Michigan versus Central Michigan in the NCAA tournament second round. Now, we're not done with the Lax talk quite yet. Joining me now is Charlotte Barnes of the Daily Northwestern and USA Lacrosse Magazine. Charlotte, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
So obviously this team is pretty amazing right now, and similarly to the last regular season game, they took on the Terps in that Big Ten tournament final. They were able to win. Terps kept it close though for a while, like they did in the regular season. What do you think makes Northwestern such a powerful second half team that's able to get these wins?
I think a lot of it is the draw control. Kelly talked a bit about that yesterday when she spoke with the media, and she just said there are a lot of adjustments that need to take place. I believe they got Serafina DeMono in on the action, and that helped a bit in the second half. But I think adjustments on the draw are super helpful because obviously winning the draw is a necessity to get the ball on offense and score. And beyond that, I mean, Kelly is always told, I've asked her a lot of questions about halftime speeches, and she's never said anything to me about what she says at halftime, but I feel like she's got to say something especially inspiring to those teams because they're just really strong out of the gates. And then I feel like Northwestern's defense was great as well, and they really kept Maryland in check both times. Maryland just couldn't play that fourth quarter against them, really struggled. Molly Liberty had a huge second half yesterday, I believe 7 second half saves, so they were a huge part of it as well.
Completely. And I mean, now, as I mentioned, the Cats are the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, so they get the first round bye. What's another first round matchup that you're looking forward to maybe, keep Wildcat fans excited until Northwestern eventually plays?
I think Denver-USC is going to be a really great game. If I'm Denver, I'm mad because a lot of the bracketology showed Denver being number 3 and they're number 5, so they didn't get that first round bye. They had an undefeated season. What else can you do? And then USC, they've had a really hot end to the regular season. They're 16-3, haven't lost a game since early April, coached by former Wildcat Lindsey Monday, which is especially exciting, won the Pac-12, so I think those will be 2 great teams to look for.
I'm personally super excited about Denver. I mean, they're also down there with the #4 seed UNC, which could be really exciting in the future. And again, the Cats are looking for something. Do you think that it's championship or bust for Kelly Monty-Hiller's squad this year?
I think I've covered 3 different Northwestern lacrosse teams, and I think this one has the best chance of winning the championship of any of the past teams I've covered, just because obviously 2021 was really weird with COVID, but this year it just feels like all the pieces are falling into place. I think defense has been a huge question mark in the past, even though Madison Doucette looked great to end the regular season last year. I think Molly Liberty has just been a huge piece of the puzzle for Northwestern. She is a 4.67 save rate, has just been coming up big in these huge games, and especially in this transition to this level of play. Yes, she played a lot of hard teams in Division III, but playing Boston College in North Carolina, that's not an easy transition, but Molly Liberty stepped in and done it. And then that's not even touching on the offense. Izzy Skane, unbeatable. 79 goals, second in the country with that, and she missed 2 games too, so she's pretty much right up there with the best of the best in the country. And then Erin Quickendall, Haley Radigan, Madison Taylor, it's like you can't stop Northwestern. There's so many different options.
Yeah, you've started talking about the offense, and I want to take a quick aside from the postseason and mention someone very important on that Northwestern attack. Haley Radigan was drafted this week into the Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse League, so she'll have the chance to play at the next level. She's a transfer from Mercer, who played in the Big South, not the Big Ten, not really on that super national stage like Northwestern. What do you think is giving her this ability to put her name out there and potentially thrive in that new league?
I think she was an absolute star at Mercer last year. I believe if she wasn't first in the country, she was second in the country in goals scored. She's from Long Island. She's played with that level of talent. And it's just exciting to see her thrive at this level. I actually wrote a story on her last year for USA Lacrosse Magazine. So when I saw she transferred to Northwestern, I was like, I know that name. That was really exciting. But I remember her coach told me that she's just extremely coachable. In her free time last year, she would just go hang out with her coach, talk about what she could improve on. She's just really coachable, and I'm sure that's translating at Northwestern as well.
Yeah, totally. Well, very excited to see how Haley does at the next level. But first, there's some postseason lacrosse coming to Evanston on Sunday. We'll see how the Wildcats fare in their first matchup. Thanks for joining us so much, Charlotte. And Griffin, back to you.
Thanks, Allie. With the NCAA tournament set to begin this week, the bracket for Northwestern is on everyone's mind. Here for a deep dive is Sports Night's Brendan Preisman. Brendan?
Thank you very much, Griffin. Well, Wildcats are officially the #1 overall seed in the upcoming NCAA tournament. To do a quick dive into some of the opponents they might face, Sports Night brought me in and gave me the perfect opportunity to introduce my brand new analysis metric to the world. Now, this is called the GBW method. I came up with it years ago and successfully got it trademarked just last year after a long court battle. It stands for good, bad, and weird. Basically, I look at what each team is good at, what each team is bad at, and the factors where each team can get a little, weird. In this segment, I'm going to talk about the GBW method with regard to the Lake Show's most likely opponents based on seeding, Michigan and Stony Brook. Let's start with Michigan. Now, these two teams played back in March, and Northwestern won easily, 16-8, behind an almost unfathomable 7 goals from Izzy Skane, Big Ten Attacker of the Year. Now, that was a bit of a shocker. Michigan's good is normally their defense, 21st in points per game, 9.61, 28th in save percentage at 45.9, but their bad came back to bite them in that contest. That mark of 26.5 shots per game is just 75th in the country. When Michigan isn't controlling the ball, they can be in for a long game. That means against Northwestern, they'll have to do really well at their weird, controlling the draw. 51.2% there. In the last matchup between these two teams, Northwestern had 19 draw controls, Michigan just 13. Barring that, Northwestern will advance to the second round, where they'll face, more than likely, a familiar foe. Now, the Wildcats lost 4 of their 5 contests against current number 10 Stony Brook from 2015 to 2018, but they turned the turntables faster than Michael Scott, winning their last 2 battles with the Seawolves, including a 13-8 win in early March, when Stony Brook was the 4th-ranked squad in the country. Now, for the Seawolves, they're good. Their offense, that mark of 15.35 goals per game, 10th in the country, and they've used that firepower to beat opponents like Yale and Stanford. A big reason for that offensive explosion is their efficiency. They almost never turn the ball over, just 10.24 per game. That's second in the nation. And they also boast a top 10 defense. So what in the world could this team possibly be bad at? It's simple. They turn into Ben Simmons from the free position spot. As you see here, they convert just under 40% of their shots from the spot. You've heard of hack a Shack, and if these two teams are close in the second round, it might be time to hack a Seawolf and let Molly Liberty work her magic in the goalie area. And they better hope the fouls, they're weird, nearly 20 per game, stay low, because Northwestern, for one, definitely won't waste chances from the free position spot.
All right, Brendan, thank you for that expertise.
Switching gears now, the captain has returned to his ship. That's right, Boo Buie is back in Evanston for one last ride. The point guard announced he was coming back for a 5th year on Monday. The New York native gained a ton of recognition this past year, including an All-Big Ten first-team selection and being selected as a finalist for the Naismith Bob Cousy Award, recognizing the nation's top point guard. Here's what Buie had to say about his decision to return to Northwestern.
Just the people here and, going through 4 years and what they did for me and just playing here has been awesome. And, having one more year, before starting my pro career is just a blessing. And I just wanted to take the most advantage of it and make the biggest opportunity out of it.
Buie announced his return just after Coach Chris Collins signed an extension through 2028, and the two will look to lead the Cats to back-to-back big dances for the first time in program history.
Coming up, we'll look at the latest from Northwestern's other top team, women's softball. Don't go anywhere.
My narrative since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
Welcome back to Sports Night. We've already covered one championship-winning program tonight, so let's get started with the next. Griffin?
The Big Ten women's softball tournament kicked off competition from the University of Illinois on Wednesday. Number 1 seed Northwestern took on Iowa earlier today in the quarterfinals. Before we take a look at that game, let's catch up on the Cats' weekend series at Rutgers. Northwestern hit the road for their final regular season series at Rutgers. Top of the second as Kansas Robinson hits this one deep out to right field, and it's out of here. Robinson's home run puts Northwestern up 3-0. Top of the third, Kelsey Nader rips a double into the right center field gap. That one will bring home Nikki Cochran to make it 4-0. Northwestern now up 9-2 as it's Nader again. She hits this one in between the left and center fielders. Both runners would come home to score as Nader slides in safely into third with a triple. Northwestern wins Game 1 11-2. Game 2 now as Lauren Skaborski launches a home run to left field. Skaborski's fourth home run of the year ties the game up at 1. In the bottom of the third, a line drive out to right center field, but Kelsey Nader makes the diving catch. Nader saves a run with that spectacular play. Rutgers up 4-1 in the bottom of the fifth as Lauren Punk drives this one out to deep center field. Schellmeyer takes a look, but that one is gone. 3-run shot from Rutgers gives them a 6-run lead. Northwestern down 7-3 as Jaden Bickers gets Lauren Skaborski swinging to end this one. The Scarlet Knights steal Game 2 from the Cats. Now in Game 3, Northwestern up 1-0, and Nader makes another diving catch, her second spectacular catch of the weekend. Maeve Nelson at the plate as she drives this pitch to deep center for her second home run of the season. Northwestern would go on to win 2-0 and end the regular season not losing a series to a Big Ten opponent. The top-seeded Northwestern Wildcats arrive in Champaign for the Big Ten tournament. Lauren Boyne in the circle for the Cats, and she starts things off with a strikeout to end the top of the first. Nothing going offensively for NU, but Skylar Schellmeyer decides to lay out on this amazing catch, and she keeps the game tied. Shout out to the friend of the show, Chad Schellmeyer, Skylar's dad. Moving along, Northwestern now at the plate. Or never mind this one. Kelsey Nader hit an RBI single to put the Cats on the board, but Grace Nito snags the ball out of the air to maintain the 1-0 lead. Bottom of the fourth now, and it's Nader again. She crutches this pitch to right center field, bringing home 2 runs on the stand-up triple. The current score in this one, now 3-1 Northwestern in the 7th. If Northwestern goes on to win, they will play the winner of tonight's matchup between Nebraska and Illinois. The semifinal game will take place tomorrow at 7:30.
Now let's take it to the hard court. Northwestern men's tennis open play in its third straight NCAA tournament appearance last Friday. The Wildcats drew an 8 seed and they took on the 9 seed UCLA in the first round. The Cats dominated in doubles, highlighted by the team of Simon Bratholm and Stephen Foreman winning their match 6-2. The Cats also beat UCLA in singles 3-2, with Foreman, Bratholm, and Gleb Blecker all taking wins. Northwestern then took on top-seeded Kentucky in the second round for the second year in a row. The Cats went 1-2 in doubles. The team of Bratholm and Foreman took the lone win. The Cats weren't able to make up for it in singles. They went 3-3 with wins from Ivan Yatsik, Presley Theinman, and Gleb Blecker. They lost the overall competition 4-3, ending their season.
After a second-place finish at the Big Ten tournament, the women's golf team was hoping to continue its strong postseason play in the NCAA Palm Beach Gardens Regional. A strong first 2 rounds of golf had the Cats comfortably in position to move on, sitting in second place with graduate student Kelly Sim leading the team at 3 under par. Conditions in the third round were tough, with 9 of the 12 teams shooting over par. As the Cats fought to stay in the top 5, Sim struggled. However, senior Irene Kim had 2 key birdies on her final 2 holes to help the Cats finish at 14 over par. Just 2 shots ahead of the 6th place finishing Arkansas Razorbacks, who were eliminated from the postseason. Kim led the Cats with the top 6 finish at 1 over par, even with the tough final 9 holes. Kelly Sim was able to stay in the top 10 with a top 9 finish. Jenny Lee and Diana Lee rounded out the top 4 Cats, both finishing top 25 overall. As a team, the Cats finished top 3 in the event. That finish means they will move on to the NCAA Championships in Scottsdale, Arizona, which begin on May 19th.
Northwestern women's cross country ran its last races of the outdoor track season this past weekend at the NIU Husky Classic down in DeKalb. The Cats took the top 2 spots in the 1,500-meter run, with first place going to sophomore Deepti Chaudhary, who crossed the finish line in about 4 minutes and 44 seconds. She was followed by unattached Northwestern grad student Olivia Verbecki as she clinched her way to second place. The Cats also finished strong in the 3,000-meter run, placing in 1st through 4th place and in 6th place. It was NU junior Catherine Hessler who came back to Evanston in 1st, completing the run in just over 10 minutes and 13 seconds. The Cats are done on the outdoor track for the year, but will be back in action this fall for another cross-country season.
After the break, we'll have the highlights from baseball's weekend series versus Indiana and Tuesday's game against Milwaukee. We'll be right back.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Griffin, you already caught us up on one diamond sport. What's the word on the other?
So glad you asked. Northwestern baseball entered the weekend coming off a strong win at UIC. That said, the Cats had been swept in their 3 previous series against Big Ten opponents. They would look to right the ship against Indiana. After a series sweep by Michigan State, Northwestern was looking to change course at home against Indiana. Top of the first, as Carter Matheson wastes no time getting the Hoosiers on the board. He crushes a 3-run bomb to right center field off Michael Farinelli. Matheson's 8th homer of the year puts the Cats in an early hole. Pitching for the rest of the game was stellar, as no more runs scored until the top of the 8th. Matheson strikes again as he hits a bloop single into right field, driving in a run. Indiana would hold the 4-0 lead to the end of the game, shutting out the Cats in Game 1. Game 2 saw Northwestern get the bats going early, as Cooper Ford rips this double down the left field line. Owen McElpatrick scores easily from second, putting the Cats up 1-0. But now, top of the 8th, Indiana has the tying run on second with 2 outs as Brock Tibbetts hits this one over the shortstop in the left field. The left fielder comes up firing, but the throw to the plate is offline, tying this one up at 2 and sending it to extras. Now in the 11th, Indiana with runners on the corners as Bobby Wallen grounds one to short. McElpatrick comes up firing to the plate, but Cooper Ford cannot make the catch, giving Indiana the lead. They would eventually go on to win this one 5-2. Now Northwestern trying to avoid the sweep, and it did not start well. Peter Cerruto lines one down the left field corner. The runner from second scores easily. Hunter Jesse gets the green light and rounds third. The throw to the plate is on target, but can't be handled by Ford. Indiana takes a 5-0 lead. Northwestern did keep things close, but in the top of the 7th, Peter Cerruto hits a fly ball to center. Arnone catches it, but his throw will not be close, giving Indiana an 11-6 lead. That would be all for this one, as Indiana wins 11-9. wrapping up the series with the Cats getting swept once again. And on Tuesday, the Cats traveled up north along Lake Michigan to face Milwaukee. The two teams battled earlier this year at the end of April, with Northwestern claiming the victory. Revenge was on the mind for the Panthers. Matt McClure started for the Cats and tossed 2 perfect innings with 1 strikeout. The Wildcats started the scoring first in the 3rd inning, with junior Tony Livermore crossing home plate on a wild pitch. The Panthers used an RBI single to tie the game up at 1 apiece in the 5th inning, then gained their first lead of the ballgame with 1 more run in the next frame. Milwaukee extended their lead to 3-1 in the 8th with an inside-the-park home run from Ty Olnick. Northwestern picked up 1 more run on senior Griffin Arnone's leadoff home run in the 9th, but they couldn't complete the comeback, and the ballgame ended 3-2 in favor of the Panthers. Despite the team's struggles, Cats fans have something to look forward to. After the weekend series at Michigan, the team will play Notre Dame at Wrigley Field on Tuesday. It will be baseball's first game at Wrigley since 2013. Looking ahead this week to where you can catch the Cats. First up is baseball's game against Michigan at 5 p.m. on Friday.
Then it's postseason laps at Martin Stadium. Catch the Lake Show at 11 a.m. Sunday in the NCAA tournament.
Lastly, men's golf will tee off in the NCAA Las Vegas Regional on Monday.
So that's where you can catch the Cats this weekend.
But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's everyone's favorite part of the show.
My narrative since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
Welcome back to Sports Night. We've had so much great content on today's show, but one more look at the best moments can't hurt.
That's right, Griffin. The best moments from some of the school's best teams. It's time for Plays of the Week. Let's run it.
At number 3, the game tied at 2 apiece. Indiana's Brock Tibbetts rips it into left field, and it looks like Devin Taylor will score easily. But the first year stumbles coming home. He gets up and goes home, but the Wildcat relay is on time, preventing the Hoosiers from taking the lead.
Moving on to number 2. Passing it around are the Wildcats. Skane with the ball, hands it over to Taylor, and now it's Haley Radigan. There's the spin move, and she dives through the defense to put the Cats up in the conference tourney championship.
Now at number 1, this one got featured on SportsCenter for a reason. Ball hit to right center, Nader sprints after it, and she makes the diving catch. What a play for the first year.
That'll do it for tonight's episode of Sports Night.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter at NNN Sports and on Instagram at NNN_sports. For Ali Navarrete, I'm Griffin Senek. Have a good night.